আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আশা করছি সবাই ভালো আছেন। আজকে আমার আড্ডায় আমি যুক্ত করেছি আমার একজন একাডেমিক কলিগ ডক্টর ক্রিস্টোফার বেঞ্জামিন, স্ট্যানফোর্ড ইউনিভার্সিটির বায়োলজি বিভাগের পোস্ট ডক্টরাল ফেলো। তার সাথে যে জিনিসগুলো নিয়ে আলাপ করব, প্রথমত তার রিসার্চ এবং রিসার্চার হওয়ার পেছনে তার আন্ডার গ্রাজুয়েট প্রফেসরের ভূমিকা, পাশাপাশি রিসার্চার হওয়ার জন্য আন্ডার গ্রাজুয়েট লেভেল থেকে সে নিজেকে কিভাবে প্রস্তুত করেছে, এবং ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্টুডেন্টদেরকে নিয়ে একজন আমেরিকান হিসেবে সে কিভাবে চিন্তা করছে, এবং বাংলাদেশি স্টুডেন্টের জন্য তার পরামর্শ। চলুন আমরা চলে যাই আমাদের আলোচনায়। Hey
What's going
Steven, how are you?
on? I'm good, man. Nice background. Huh?
Thank you, thank you. First of all, Steven, thank you so much for joining me, and I'm so happy to see you. That's and so excited and honored to bring you here with me.
Thanks. Thank you for having me too.
How is the situation there?
People here are very good about following the rules. I don't really hear much of that going on in California. So that's a good thing.
So, Steven, I heard you were working on coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
Could you
Not
talk?
not the full virus.
Can you talk about this a little bit?
Um, yeah, I can talk about it. But we're working on the S protein.
Hmm.
So that's the spike protein on the surface of the coronavirus. And so this protein is responsible for uh, the coronavirus entering. It really has a mechanism
Hmm.
that's required for the coronavirus to enter the cell, the host cell,
Hmm.
human cell. And so this protein has two states, pre-fusion and post-fusion.
Oh.
And in the post-fusion state, that's when the post-fusion state is required for the coronavirus to make an entry after it attaches to the surface of the host cell. So this is so ideally we would the goal is to understand as much as we can about this S protein.
I see. So, do you think that it's gonna help to develop the vaccine?
It could possibly
Hmm.
potentially. I can't say that it is because we are working with a different version of this protein.
Hmm.
Uh,
Pandemic situation, will this affect our graduate research, like funding, RA, postdoc funding, grant in future? Do you think?
I, my opinion is it's going to affect everything, everything. It's especially like starting with the graduate students. Like let's start there because already the way that we are that we are taught has changed. Everyone is doing online courses.
So, Steven, you are working on cryo electron microscope, right? In your PhD several years ago when you completed your PhD, and you there also you worked on cryo EM, right?
Yeah.
So actually, what you did in your PhD?
In my PhD, we essentially were working to on it was really a method development uh, project or set of projects, and all of them were aimed at changing the way that we approach cryo-electron microscopy for soft material.
Mhm. I know also that in your first postdoc, you were completely different than what you did in your PhD, right?
Yeah.
Then you came back to the old track again, right?
Yeah.
So you did. Can you talk about that? Actually, why? How did you go back to that track, and why did you came back again? This actually that's very good combination. I like that combination. But how did you move to that semiconductor, then coming back to the cryo EM?
Uh,
That's very
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. In my graduate work, essentially we were material scientists.
Yeah.
Not only that, but um, but my expertise it was in electron microscopy, not just in transmission electron microscopy, but also scanning electron microscopy. I did. I work with many different types of samples, not just biological samples, but also non-biological samples.
Yeah.
Because everyone needs microscopy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Doesn't matter. You pick a field. They will need it. They were looking for not just expertise in electron microscope, but they were also looking for someone with some chemistry knowledge. Which was
Actually, that's very good that you can in future you can design the proposal, right, based on that, right?
yeah, 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 yeah,
That will give you a new dimension of your cryo-EM projects, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope so. I hope so.
Okay. Uh, so let's go to your home state, Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yeah, I know you are grown up in Louisiana, right?
My bachelor was at the University of New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
Then,
My bachelor was at the it was at UNO, the University of New Orleans.
how was that school? And
It was a different experience for me. It was fun.
so you had a
I,
bachelor in biology.
and at that time, I worked in the chemistry lab,
Hmm.
organic chemistry lab, and even I got a published paper from there, my undergrad. Yeah,
I saw one of your paper have very good citation from that lab, probably, right?
yeah.
So that's how many years you did research in your undergrad.
Uh, I think I want to say about 3 years, 4 years, probably.
Oh, that's pretty long. In undergrad research is actually very long. 3 years research means you started from the first year,
Yeah, yeah. But
right?
I had my own bench. I had my own everything. I was, I was, I was like a grad student there.
Yeah, that's actually very good. Good for you, and it's good for all the people who are doing undergrad here.
Yeah.
So how did you grow up your interest for applying in grad school and for being a researcher? How did it grow up in you that you want to be scientist or why you want to be grad school? That how did you grow up that interest in you?
I wanted. So yeah, you mean that aha moment, right?
Yeah,
Like I wanted to be a dentist. I was set on becoming a dentist initially,
dentist.
more than anything else. But if you sat me down and asked me why I want to be a dentist,
Yeah.
it was because of prestige, maybe, and money. I could not when someone asked me. Actually, it was my undergraduate advisor.
Mm-hmm.
I was working in his lab. He asked me why you want to be a dentist, and the only thing I could think about was money, and I'll have a nice life. And he said that's no reason to choose a career, you know. And at the time, I was like, yeah, whatever. but I went to Las Vegas conference, and I was working on a project that they've been trying to do something for over 10 years. They've been trying to synthesize this particular thing for over 10 years. And I had literally over 10 years. And as an undergrad, I had some idea, just some idea. And I developed this idea using like a molecular model. I mean, it was to scale, actually. It was accurate. But using a molecular model on my desktop, and I said, okay, I want this compound. If I use this compound, I know I could synthesize this thing. And I did it, submit this sample to mass spec, and took off on a plane to Las Vegas. I got a hold to my email while I was presenting the poster, and I was like, oh man, yeah, I'll never forget that feeling. That was the best feeling. That was one of the best feelings that I've had as a researcher. Seeing that, I was at that moment I realized, if this what it means, if this what accomplishing things in research feels like, then this is for me.
Wow. Your undergrad advisor is actually guy who influenced, actually, right?
Yeah, for sure. He's the most influential person in my research career by far. Were it not for that moment, I would be a dentist. I would be a dentist.
From the Nolans to Purdue. So when you applied for grad school, how did you pick your grad school? I don't know how. Suppose for us, for international students, we pick from the ranking, new suppose US News ranking, because we don't have other scale to measure that which one is better, right? The only thing we can find is from ranking. From the ranking, we figure out from this subject, these schools are better. This is medium. This is low level schools. Pick this one. But I heard a lot of you are. I mean, a lot of friends that local friends like you. I heard that you guys don't believe that ranking much.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you pick your grad school? How did you pick the Purdue?
I picked Purdue. It wasn't even so much on prestige. It wasn't. I applied for two other schools. Some schools I applied to for prestige. And Purdue wasn't so much one of them, even though I know that Purdue was a good school. I mean, a lot of people would apply to it for prestige. But when I say prestige, some that I applied to, like one was Harvard, and these Ivy Leagues. I just I for no reason, actually, other than prestige, wanted to go there. But I picked Purdue uh solely on the work of the faculty,
Hmm.
and they were my number one choice.
I see.
They were my number one choice based on the type of research that was going on in the chemistry and the biology departments there.
Like GRE, SOP, recommendation letter. When did you start to making those things? When did you start preparing those materials for grad school? Like For us,
I would, you know, I'm here for the truth,
yeah.
and I'm not the most responsible person. You know that. So for me, it's last minute.
But for us, for us, first thing we need to do is we have to take a English test, either TOEFL or
Yeah, yeah,
IELTS. So we are not good in English, that's for sure, because we have to do a lot of practice exam, speaking practice, writing practice, reading practice to get a good score.
yeah.
And
Actually, I get that. I understand. So I I have the luxury of doing that more so than a lot of other people. So I would definitely recommend not doing that. Because I waited last minute. Uh, I did not apply to a lot of schools
mhm,
that I wanted to apply to. I ended up applying to four, which is very bad.
mhm.
Which is you should. So if you're looking to go to graduate school,
Uh-huh.
there should be no limit on the number of schools that you apply to.
That's true. There's
If if you can somehow apply to 100, then you should apply to 100 for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that's 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 number one. Uh, and waiting until the last minute will not get the job done. You you can't do that actually. So I didn't have someone, actually my advisor at the time, he was kind of checking up, and I just kind of, actually I was just more focused on the chemistry in the lab, and than even applying for these things, right? So but
Yeah.
I should not have done it. And I'm glad I got accepted into Purdue. But
So so do you you had to uh take the GRE test, right?
yeah.
So when did you take that test? Because you if you graduate in spring or summer, right? You are planning to catch next fall, right? You did that, right?
I can't remember, to be honest.
But you didn't have much gap between two semesters, between your undergrad.
I Yeah, yeah. I didn't have much gap. Yeah.
That means you had your GRE score ready before you graduate, before you applying. That means you already had that test maybe in third year, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think so. Yeah, Rage, it's been so long ago. I'm sorry, man. I wish I could give you a more accurate number, but
it's okay, it's
uh
okay, that's okay. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
approximate timing is okay. So is it the very no, very common that those who are applying to grad school from USA, especially those local students who are applying for grad school, they have their GRE ready by third year or maybe in between
Oh,
3 and 4.
yes, some people, but actually, now that I'm thinking, no, third year is way too early for me, because I was looking at taking a DAT at that time. That's required to get into dentistry school. I
What
wasn't
is
thinking
the
about GRE.
okay?
It's called the DAT.
What is
Yeah,
DIT?
the dental assessment test.
Oh, dental. Oh,
Yeah, I wanted to be a dentist. I wasn't thinking about GRE. Yeah. So
but let
yeah, I
yeah.
was I was studying for the DAT. I was studying for it. I Yeah.
But
Like I
but
said,
later you had GRE.
yeah, yeah, I did. Later I had GRE.
I see.
After Las Vegas happened, uh, I I really started focusing on the GRE
So that
almost immediately.
so that Las Vegas conference was a turning point for you.
Yeah, yeah, it was big time. Yeah.
Good, good. So So this is the problem between you guys and our Bangladeshi students. Like Bangladeshi students, they don't take their GRE in the third year, fourth year.
Yeah.
They
And
usually,
that there has to be, if someone were to be motivated the way that I was, then there has to be something there to motivate them. You could you could talk about how cool it is to do research
yeah,
and all these things, but for me and for a lot of people, their their goal is to make money, have a nice life.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking about. And because I had this resource, access to this resource, which was an entire lab bench, I could do things and be creative and break things and fix things and then do things.
yeah.
um,
So how difficult was to get the recommendation letter? You had to submit three recommendation letter, right? How hard was to get that three recommendation from three professors? Was it hard or it just easy? How many times you had to request your professor to send recommendation letter? Did you have a hard time to get it?
no,
No, it was
not at
very
all.
easy. Just request and they did it.
Yeah, that was not a barrier. I had very personal relationship with him, and also some of the professors that I took my class with. So that was no barrier, and I think it should be no barrier.
I see.
You should be able to get letters of recommendations
I see.
from people.
So it was very easy 10 years ago from now when you were an undergrad. But now, of course, this is more easier. So wherever you go in USA, suppose in Purdue or Stanford, you see a lot of international people, right? Think about what do you think about them? It's like, do you do you take them friendly or you think like, oh, they are coming, why they are coming here, leave their country and why come? Yeah, in the US.
Oh, no, I don't. There's no hostility there. If that's the question. I I'm so used to seeing different types of faces that I don't even think about it. That's how normalized it is today.
Yeah, I know. I'm just asking just to
Yeah,
know
yeah,
because that's why we are good friends for a long time, right? So I know
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
you don't think like that, and that's why
yeah, yeah,
we are good friends for a long time, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And one more thing is like when we see the reason why I am asking this question nowadays in the news, right? We see a lot of things, a lot of questions, a lot of things that coming up in the news, like people here they don't like international people because international people when they coming here they are taking over your position, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So nowadays this is actually very common concern that's being mentioned by a lot of people that's political people, right?
For for political reasons, yeah.
So what do you think are those people that's actually taking over your position, you think?
Um, I don't think so. No, I can't say that people are taking over because um the one thing that I do dislike, I can say the one the thing that I dislike the most is how segregated uh, the research environment can be. For instance, when you look at a paper sometimes
Mm-hmm.
and you see a list of names, and every name on that paper is an East Asian name, let's say.
Yeah, that's
That's, for me, that's disturbing because because it, and this isn't a university in East Asia. I mean, it could be from University of Texas at Austin, or Purdue University. You've seen at Purdue where you would have uh let's say an Indian professor, or you may have a Chinese professor, and every graduate student in that lab is Indian, in the Indian professor's lab. And for the Chinese professor, every graduate student in that lab is Chinese. There,
that's true.
that's a problem for me.
But that's not everywhere. But you see, my lab,
Yeah,
I have American, I have Indian, I have
yeah,
Colombian, I have
yeah,
Chinese.
yeah,
Boss is
yeah,
Chinese. Actually, I have multinational people in my lab. So
yeah,
actually,
yeah,
that's true. In many labs, there are a lot of like professor. They are just taking only from their countries, not from other countries.
yeah.
Right?
It's and it's not good. Because I know students who, and it's people have interest in their research. Students come to the university interested in that lab, but they feel uncomfortable because everyone and no one is speaking English, and it's not that they don't know how to speak English. They are choosing not to,
Yeah,
and so that's in a way you are intentionally excluding
yeah. That's true.
uh,
That's not good. That's not good.
people people from uh, participating,
That's true.
uh, contributing,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
socially, uh, and you don't you want to know what the person beside you is saying. They could be saying something of importance, and for me, if there's 10 people in a lab and every single one of them speaks another language but me, it's okay. But it's okay for you to know how to speak the language, but if you're doing it
yeah.
and every person knows what's being said, or every person can participate in the conversation other than me, then I feel like an outsider. And
That's
I
true.
don't care what kind of research it is.
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
true.
would not want to be in that
Yeah,
lab.
that's very bad. Yeah, that's very bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
very bad.
that, more so than this narrative of all the jobs are being taken, that I don't have I feel like the job should be given to the the person that's best qualified.
That's
That's
true.
what that's what I think.
That's true.
And everyone should have the opportunity to position themselves to get the expertise to
Yeah.
compete for that job.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah, I got it. I got your points. So suppose for some reason, if I tell that for some reason that's international students is not coming anymore. Suppose 100% off, no more international students. Do you think that's gonna be okay? Suppose in US there is no international students. I mean, no more international students from next fall. No more. Stop. Only national, only locally students. So do you think that it's gonna be okay, or it's gonna be? Will it have any good effect or bad effect, or
Bad effect,
how?
because you're not you need to hire from the best pool possible, and it doesn't mean international students are better. Let's say let's ask a different question. Let's say that you only hire internationals, or let's say that you only hire from an existing pool of international here in the U.S. Then is essentially your talent pool will become depleted. You need to look for the best possible talent, and those people exist in every culture around the world. Doesn't matter where you're from. They're also very talented people here in the U.S. who could fill those jobs, but you know, there's really a push here in the U.S. to get the best talent possible. So I think that's why you see so many international faces,
I
not just natives here.
I see.
Yeah, that's really my thought.
Okay. So we are very close to finish. What is your suggestion for those international students, those who are interested to come in US and for grad school, and they want to do the uh, science?
They want to do science.
Yeah,
Well, if they're scared, if well, first don't be scared, and if they are scared, then don't look at the news, because the news only gives you um, the worst stories, the stories that will generate money, give the most ratings.
yeah,
People, for some reason, love to hear about problems. They It's just the nature of the news industry, but there's a lot of good things that goes on. If you have experience in the sciences, then and you love it and you want to pursue it, and you're thinking about coming here to the US, then you should do it without any fear.
I see. Thank you.
People are doing it every day.
I see. I see. Thank you so much, Steven. Thank you so much for your time. It's my pleasure, and I feel so honored to be with you here.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Hey, Raja,
Yes.
can you get that book, like the one with the face, that
Which one?
guy?
This one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one. Let me see. Just come bring it. Actually,
Yeah, yeah.
I want to.
No, I can't take it now because decoration. I have another show after
Oh
that.
man,
So
no.
yeah, no.
Actually, it just fell. Like it fell down.
No,
Look.
it's actually not book. You see, this is a poster tag on the wall, not the book, man. You don't see it?
Oh really?
Yeah, that's not book.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much, Steven, for your
All right,
time.
Reagan, man. Have a good night, dude.
You too.
All right.
Bye.